Well, I'm not sure. Now it's going to start. Oh, hey, welcome, guys. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my stream and another chapter. Another chapter which I'm feeling like might be the final chapter, working on that guy there. That is John Wick's 1970 Chevelle. It's a 124 scale model kit by AMT. We'll run the intro and we'll get started. Okay, guys, we haven't got much left to do on this particular build. She's almost done. I want to add a little bit of a personal touch to it, a little bit of detail that you don't normally see in these model car kits. And then we're going to put on our bumper, our rear bumper, our last tail light, and I think that's about it. So let's change the camera to let you see what I'm about to do. So we have our rear bumper, which I painted the centerpiece there flat black like they want. Now, the kit comes with a decal to put over the SS emblem. Oh, so I figured, you know what? They've already gone through the trouble of making that SS emblem in there. So I just rubbed a little bit of my black paint off the top of it and left the chrome. So there we go. I've got a nice chrome SS emblem. And of course, body color along that bottom strip. I have one tail light already assembled and I just need to put the second one in. So what I did was I scraped away a little bit of the chrome around the surround of that tail light lens where that lens is going to contact so that the glue will work, and we'll put in the second tail light lens here. Let's get this off the sprue. Like that. And she's going to drop in. There are lefts and rights, so you have to be careful of that. And it just drops into the hole nice like that. Fits nicely. Using our good old Tamiya extra thin, we can just put a couple of drops on our three sides. Give another little press just to make sure it's contacted good. And that's it. And there's our second lens installed. So we'll just put that aside for now. And we'll go over what I was planning with my little custom thing. That's this right here. I'm making a license plate bracket. You know, you don't see it very much, but on these older cars, they had that metal bracket, and it's just like a steel plate kind of with an X pattern in it for you to mount your license plate on. I'm going to try and see if I can fabricate myself one with a little piece of this little styrene here. So what I did is I just kind of eyeballed it and matched it up to the size of our little indent for a license plate. And what would be, I think, is going to be a relatively accurate size. And I went through and I took my pin vise and I drilled a bunch of little pilot holes in here to guide me as I start cutting and making some holes in this here. And that's what my next step is right now, is just cutting some lines in here to make all the holes. I don't know if this is going to work out or not, but I figured I'd give it a try. You know, it doesn't hurt to try. There we go. Yeah, that's a good rough in right there. do the easiest thing. Go through each angle that I need to do that's the same. That piece is done. This guy should be done, but he's not. That guy's done. So what's your problem? Oh, he just fell out too. Okay, so I've got my four little inner triangles, right? Now I just need to cut out the outline of it. Go to this side so I can see where I need to adjust to cut through. Here, here, here. One more, I think. And we've broken free, I believe. Or almost. Almost. There we go. We have our little frame. Or at least the start of one anyway. Let's get rid of my bits here. And we'll see what kind or if any kind of adjustments need to be for it to fit in here. Nope, she's going to fit perfectly in there. Nice. Okay, now obviously my bottom edge is a little thick. I need to trim that one. Yeah, that was not nice. My bottom edge is very, very thin now, and I made a boo-boo in doing that. But that's okay. My bottom edge is a little too thin, but that's all right. These weren't necessarily perfect. They're always hiding behind the license plate. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What's hard to do is I'm using white styrene on white plastic. Or white, yeah, I'm using white styrene on a white paper. I need a smaller file. I want to clean up my edges a little bit in here. I need an even smaller file than this. Where's my other flat little file here? I have another file. Comes to a point. There we go. I'm going to paint this thing black. Actually, what I need to do, the real thing I need to do, is glue my little edges where I went a little too close to the edge with my cutting and I broke it. So I just need to reattach it real quickly here. Get that melted back together. There we go. And so I need to make this guy black. So let's get a little bit of paint. We're going to use flat black, I think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy here and put him on here. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Fortunately to me, a paint only takes a couple of minutes to be dry to the touch, so we'll give that a minute.
Eventually.
Okay, so we're just making sure this is dry to the touch. That's good enough, I believe. I believe that's fine. So there we have our little bracket. Now I don't want to try and scrape away any of the chrome in here. So what I'm just going to do is use some CA glue. I'll just run a little bit of CA glue along this top edge here where it's going to meet that guy, and we'll just place it down on that. And I think that's going to be good enough for our purposes. Get my little applicator. Just go along this edge here. That. Fit him in right there like so. And I think that's good. We've got our little bracket in there where the license plate would go. Remember, this whole thing is about, you know, this car is being done and it's prior to John Wick taking possession of it. So that leaves the last bit in this for assembly as the rear bumper, because there's nothing else I'm installing onto this car. So I'll show you guys what I did on the back here. I didn't like the fact that our floor panel or frame, whatever you want to call it, was straight. And of course the body curves upward here. And this was sticking out straight, like at this angle here. It was sticking out like that. And that looked really stupid, seeing the you know, the floor pan coming out. So I took some styrene and I went inside on the body panels there, and I glued them down to the floor, and I used some CA glue and held this in place nice and flush with the bottom there. So I've got it right at the very bottom corner. So it's not like a whole bunch of pressure on it. It's just sitting in there. And you'll see these bits of styrene I put in there just to help the bumper to have a good solid thing to go up against when the bumper goes on the car. Okay, because the bumper was having a tendency of wanting to just fall inside. It was like right, very, very, very thin little edge of contact. But now I've got a couple of nice solid edges of contact on there. And As for the bumper itself, I've scraped away the chrome on the edge where it's going to make contact on there. And I did a little bit just on the top edges there on each corner to top corner there, right there, just to help give it something to glue to on those two corner edges on the fenders, or quarter panels, whatever you prefer to call. So anyway, our bumper can go on, and she does just go on just like that. Just like that. And that's it. So we're going to use this glue, so I can put a little couple of little globs of glue on the inside. On here. And on here. And maybe on here. And on here. And we can set our bumper down. Nice and centered. Just like that. Now I'm not done. I'm still going to use my extra thin. Because the extra thin will go in places that I maybe didn't get any contact with before. So like in here. And in here. How about right in here? Right by my exhaust pipe. Just making contact on the bottom frame there. It's not contacting on the driver's side. If I really press down, I could probably get it to, but I'm not interested in doing that. There we have it. And I kind of want to leave it like this, just because of the angle that the thing sits at, but I want to sit it on something because I want the bumper to be solid. I want it to sit there for a minute. While I'm looking at the underneath of this, we do have our exhaust tips to work with and install. Those are on the chrome sprue. Let's have a look at those. Our two little exhaust tips here. They are fairly big. I mean, they look just, I don't know. They look out of scale compared to the rest of it. These tips look like they're out of scale to me. There's one of them. There's one of the tips, okay? The little notch for where we're gonna have to scrape out the chrome in order for that to go on the pipe. But just looking at this and how it goes on, where it goes, it just looks wrong to me. We'll see. We'll try it, get it put on there. I'll put this one on. We'll scrape off the chrome where it's going to make contact so that the glue can do its job. Get the chrome out of that little channel. There we go. So this is just going to go on there. Let's put a little dab of glue on our exhaust tip, or just on the tip of the pipe, like that. Of course, the nature of this is you have to hold it for a minute, unless you get the perfect gravity situation. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think that's a little too big underneath there? That exhaust tip. I mean, sure, it looks kind of neat and everything, but should it really be that big under there? Especially in comparison to the actual pipe? I don't know. I don't think it's right. I don't like the look of it. I don't like that at all. So what I'm going to do is trim off the little nib of the pipe there. Do the same on this one. Let's clean that up here. I would rather have no tips on it at all and just paint those flat black. Paint the tips flat black. Let's just do this. There. And I suppose, since I'm not installing the exhaust, that is going to conclude the actual build of this kit. There's nothing for me to install. Remember last time my window came out from this side? I decided to reinstall it and have it down just a little bit. So the window's a little partially open on my passenger side. And I think that's kind of a neat effect. So the driver's side one is up all the way, but our passenger side one is down just a little bit. So we got a passenger window, rear quarter glass. She's open. And that's that. Okay, we have our hood. Now I am glad that I'm not actually putting the hood on the car. I've noticed when I put the hood down onto the car here, like this, where she belongs, she's sitting low on the driver's side. She sits way too low. She's in the cavity there. And that looks, I do not like that look at all. So if I was going to have the hood, now it's fine on the passenger side. The hood's nice and flush here. But our driver's side is awful. She just sits too low here. So if I was going to have this sitting displayed with the hood down on it like that, I would put like maybe a piece of styrene, just a little piece underneath the side here to raise it up and make it flush. I wouldn't want to put it in here because then it would look weird. Which just reminded me, one last little detail, because I'm having the hood up on the roof here, and I got my little carpeted blocks of wood. Okay, carpeted blocks of wood. I'm going to glue these down onto the hood here, like this. In fact, why don't I do that now? My little exhaust tips are going bye-bye. I'm not going to use those out of scale exhaust tips. So let's get my CA glue this way. this away, don't spill my coffee. CA glue. And let's see where my contact points are. Just right here and here. Maybe we want to do that. Let's do that. Okay. Here. Here. Glue this guy down. Same with this guy. He's going to go here, like so. There we go. So we got our blocks of wood glued to the hood. And we're going to glue the hood to the roof. This is for a diorama, so I don't want it loose. I don't want it falling around. So our roof is going to be glued up here. Our hood is going to be glued onto the roof there. So I just want to see, it's only going to be in the center that it's making contact. So, and I mean, I technically only need to glue it in one spot, but I want to put glue here and here in the center. Unfortunately, it just wants to soak into my carpet here. So I'll have to keep doing this until it stops soaking in completely. Kind of quickly do that. And just leave it. Okay. One final detail. The hood struts. I need to get these off of their little sprue. And get them installed. So I need to get my Hand Boost ultrasonic knife. 6 months later, 7 months later, I'm still telling you guys, my wife gave me this for Christmas and I love it. It is an invaluable tool for removing supports off your 3D resin stuff. As it just cuts through them like butter. Without any effort. In fact, if you're not careful, you can actually really cut yourself with these, because you start putting pressure on your piece, and next thing you know, when it cuts through, because of the pressure you're putting through, like I just cut through an actual critical part of this, and I wasn't supposed to. That's on me. That's not the fault of the print or anything else. That was just totally me. There's one done. There's the other one. Okay. Clean these up. There we go. Now something that's going to be very helpful. Something that's very helpful with this is, you know, where's my tweezers? These guys would have to basically be installed against the sides of the fenders. Kind of in there like this. But we've got these big holes, and I can just keep dropping them. So I can kind of just put them out right where those holes are. Not exactly like that, but close enough. And just have them sit there like that, and that is going to be perfect, I think. So a little dab of CA glue right there in that little corner, and right there, and get the proper side, and just kind of place them right there. I do want it kind of straight up. There we go. That's perfect. And that looks like the hood hinge that it should have. So do the same here. And I got a bunch of glue and spot I didn't want. My little drop of glue was way too big, and I got it on this side of the fender, and I don't like that. So let's just clean that up. Nice. Clean that up nice. Okay, look at this. Make sure it's roughly the same. They look pretty good. And so I know it's a little bit hard for you guys to see what I just did because they're black, but you could take a look here at the back where the hood hinges would be in real life, and you can see my little black hood hinges there on the kit, sticking up like they would be on the real car. Now, we have one last little detail, and that's the chrome on our doorknobs and door handles. I'm going to use the real chrome. That's what I've used on this kit so far on all my chrome trim, including the side of the bumpers. That side of the bumper, I had to clean up because I had the sprues on there. and it comes out really nice. It's very reflective. Obviously, it will look better if you have a perfectly smooth surface. The smoother your surface, the nicer this stuff looks. The more chromy it looks. Case in point, where I removed the grill on the bumper here, I've painted that with the chrome, and it has done the best that it could in making it look chrome. But my surface is very, very rough where I cut that. And so it can only do so much. You know, it's not, it, it can't perform a miracle. So I'll just get some on my brush here. And now I'm going to have to be careful where I pick this thing up, because we're now going to have chrome on our door handles. This stuff does like to go on thick. The thicker you can put it on there, the more chrome it looks. That's been my experience. So if you can do a thick layer of it, it's quite happy. It doesn't seem to care whether you brush it or you airbrush it. Here's one door handle done. Stupid glasses. Second door handle done. All right. That's it, guys. Our build's done. Now, I didn't want to do chrome on my hood hinges. Yes, chrome would make them pop and really make them stand out, but that was not my intention with this. I don't want them, it's not to really show off the fact, hey, it's got hood hinges. It's just to, that they're there, you know? They're there and they're happy. They're just happy to be there. That's the thing. But with that, and with a clean brush, that finishes this build. Totally done. You say, what? There's no engine in it. Well, you guys, if you've been watching my channel and been watching this series, then you already know what the plan is for the engine. Okay? Because this is done. We're finished now. Now I have to be careful how I pick it up. Our engine, of course, is on a cherry picker. Well, not right currently, but we have to, she needs an engine installed because she has no engine. We have our engine here, and I have the little chain and hook that on the engine like this. I actually have it backwards. Let's turn this around. Engine goes like this. Hook that onto the, hook that chain onto the hook. There we go. We've got an engine hanging. Bing. So now I just be a little careful in my display and drop our engine in. Oh, she came off the hook. Our chain came off. See, in real life, you wouldn't do this. It would be totally hanging, and you'd have an adjustable thing. Mine's not adjustable. But I can put it in something like this and have the engine in there like this. And I can go click, click, click and take a picture of it. I can have it like that. In fact, that's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to go on, you're going to go on to my Instagram, and you're going to see pictures of this guy in various positions or various angles sitting in the garage with the engine hoist and the engine sitting in there like that. Because that was the whole point of this build for me, was to build something that's going to go in the background and everything. It just happens to be John Wick's, or the Chevelle that would become John Wick's. That's what this is. If you guys followed through and watched this whole series, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. For you guys who just click through and watch a 1 hour video in 2 seconds, well, yeah, thank you, but that doesn't help me much. At least it doesn't help the algorithm. And so I really appreciate you guys who watch through these whole videos. I know 1 hour is an hour and it's a long time, but I really do appreciate it. So that's it. We're going to take some pictures. Don't forget, like I said, my Instagram. How do you get to my Instagram? That's in the description box. You're going to find links to that, okay? Also my Twitch channel. If you feel like coming and watching me live and asking me questions while I'm doing this stuff, feel free. I'd love to hear from you. So, speaking of that, I want to thank you guys for watching and thank you for all the support. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. That would be cool too. I'm going to move on to the next project soon. And I think some of you guys anyway, you've been waiting for it. I know for a while now. And so that's it for now anyway. So I guess we'll see you all in the next one.